What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Press Start Select podcast. I am your host, Antonius the Gamer. Once again, joined by my two co-hosts, Super SSS Rank and Mikkel Smith. Fellas, welcome back for another episode of the pod. Now, we have a couple of different topics to get right into. Since our resident Xbox expert is back this week, I feel like it was only right that we finally address the multiple changes that have taken place in the Green Tower over the past couple of weeks. The most pressing one being the increase of the the increase of the Game Pass prices. Now, as default, for Mikkel and I, we're both PlayStation, defenders. So we have nothing to say in terms of how it stacks up to PlayStation because we all know PS Plus is trash. So, the argument is not there with that. But S-Rank, my question for you is, how do you feel as a user of the service, seeing the changes that were made to Game Pass recently? What are your thoughts on that?
I use Game Pass, but it's not like how do I say, something to where I need it. So
Okay.
for me personally, I don't depend on it. I know if you have a family, it's convenient. You got a family of 4 or 5. Instead of buying the game over and over again for every copy or sharing the disc or trying to switch it throughout accounts, you guys will just have Game Pass. You subscribe. It going up in price, going from 10 to 15 to now what, 20, I believe. I can't be mad at it, right? It's not like a movie to where you watch it and then that's it. Or a series. Well, a series will have a little bit more weight because it's many seasons, but with the Game Pass, games are like $60, $70 now. So versus you getting one, now you're getting day one releases for a price that's convenient to you. For me, Game Pass is cool, but it's not something I bet my gaming experience on. I only got it because, okay, maybe I'm doing the pod now. It'll be okay to check out a couple of things here and there. But as soon as I don't want to pay anymore, it's snip. I'm good. I'm not it's not a necessity for me. It's not what makes me buy the console. I appreciate it. It's cool. All right. I'm now versus me buying the game. I could probably try it out. If I don't like it, delete it, then get the game. In that manner, it's perfect, right? If in that matter, it's perfect. But other than for me worrying about it, like now if we were to get to 35, I still can see where it could, but it's still like, yeah, listen, these are $60, $70 games.
Yeah,
it's still a valuable price for the trade-off is still great.
You can make an argument that even with the price increase, right? For the price of 3 full price $70 games, 3, right? That's it, just 3. You get access to this huge library of games with Game Pass, right? So you can still argue, but you still make a positive argument about the value that it can bring to a gamer.
Yeah, and then okay, my boys, I'm a young kid. I said, Dad, I want to buy this game. My friends are all on it. Okay, is it on Game Pass? Yeah, we could get it for Game Pass for probably 1 month. I have access to a library of games that I would never have for a month, and now I know what I want to play, and I buy it.
There's no buyer's remorse of buying.
There's no buyer's remorse. I tried it. I liked it. I want my achievements. I'm gonna buy the game now. And that's great. I think it works. Even if, I don't think, even if it were to go to 50, right? I still think that would be a very feasible amount. But it's up. I wouldn't pay $50 a month. So, that's where it starts to get a little too steep. But if they keep it at 35, or I would personally do a tier list at this point.
Which they have, technically.
They're
introducing new tiers.
Do a different tier list. And that way, okay, you probably won't get this game day one anymore. Now, if you do, you'll get this tier. And you'll have traffic move a little bit smoother then and there. That's what I would do. That's what I would have done. I'm not really disappointed in it. I'm not bothered by it because, for one, I don't use Game Pass like that. I did once upon a time, but I don't play. Most of the games on Game Pass I'm not interested in, and the ones I'm really interested in, I'm gonna buy. I've already made my decision.
Okay, so you don't view this as like an L for like
Yeah, it
Microsoft or
had to go.
Xbox.
It had to go up. I mean, everything has gone up, guys. Everything. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not a good thing. It's not an excuse. But car parts, arm and a leg. Even if you have a Honda,
Mm-hmm.
even if you have the Toyotas, the prices are ridiculous for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So um, I just it makes more sense for Game Pass prices to go up. Look at what you're getting for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'm not
Okay.
really against it. I'm not bothered by it. It was eventually a matter of time. We knew gaming was going to go up in prices. Look at, you think Grand Theft Auto is going to sell their game for $60 if you're buying
They could,
$1,000
but
Balenciagas?
they probably won't. Like, we've said this before. Like, Grand Theft Auto will probably get away with charging $100 for the standard out the gate,
Yeah,
and people will pay it.
yeah.
Like it's
You're buying one
you
thousand
heard it
dollar
here
Gucci
first.
bags.
Yeah, like,
What's it? You were going to buy a game, definitely.
right? Especially if it's relatively glitch free. You heard it here first. $100 for standard Grand Theft Auto 6.
Jiggle
But
physics.
you seen the twerking in that cutscene? That was in game engine
In South Beach. I don't have to travel this summer. Oh boy.
But Tim, let me get your thoughts on the Xbox Game Pass. What are your thoughts on it? The price increase? How do you feel it affects the Xbox infrastructure, if at all?
Personally, I do feel like, especially with politics, a lot of corporate shifts going on, I do feel like, their main focus is consumership.
Mm-hmm.
And, for some reason, people are addicted to spending. People still want to
Facts.
feel connected towards the ecosystems that they care about because when you really look at it, video games for them is their form of escape. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's not an outrageous price hike, but it's to the point where they're going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to
Mm-hmm.
absolutely pay for it, or do it in intervals. Like, all right, I'm going to ride this out for a bit, but then if it expires, who cares? I'll just renew it when I'm available, when I want to do it the next time. And to be honest, there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the person's lifestyle and how they play, what they do with it. So, yeah, that's basically how I look at it.
Okay. Doesn't really affect much on your end either.
No, no, it
Mm-hmm.
really doesn't. And like I said, the biggest things, with the Xbox is games right now. Games that are available for people to play.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing that is circulating around these days is like what is available to play.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, my thoughts on it. I'm gonna sound like a Xbox supporter, but I'm for the idea of the prices going up. Most of the reason about it is I do think that the introductory phase for Game Pass, the lower prices that got everybody in the door, it's over, right? We've heard for months and months and months that the Xbox Game Pass numbers aren't going up. They're not dropping, but they're not increasing the way they were increasing a couple of years ago. So that means that $10 entry package that it got everyone that it was going to get at that point. So at a certain point, it's like you don't want, even though we've been seeing and reporting more and more about how, for whatever reason, the gaming industry just seems to want to mimic the movie industry and music industry and all of their bad decisions. It's like you want to put a level of respect on games, right? If a game is quality, why would you not pay for it, right? Like George said with the Grand Theft Auto game, it's like you want to pay more, or you feel compelled to pay more for a great quality product. So to me, it's like for the value that S Rank laid out that you're getting for Game Pass, it's like, yeah, it went up to $20, but look what you're getting. You're not getting that on Nintendo. You're not getting that on PlayStation. You're getting the chance to play games at your leisure, based on your console space. When you're done with it, you can delete it. If you want to keep it, you can buy it. Like, it's offering a package that's simply just not being met by Xbox's rivals. So yeah, it's going to go up because, like as Frank said, everything goes up, right? The price of everything is going up. But at what point, where do we assign the value to something of like, okay, yeah, I'm charging you $20 a month, or I'm charging you 30, or I'm charging you 40, but look what you're getting. You're going to be able to pay this year. You're going to be able to play Call of Duty day one on Game Pass from the comfort of your own home. As soon as you click download, where else are you
Soon.
getting that at? Nowhere. So for me, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, it sucks. Of course, again, just the general cost of everything, the economy is like in the toilet right now. So, when I'm spending an extra $2 on bread or whatever the case may be, it sucks that my entertainment cost is now rising. But I'm like, but the value of this still cannot be denied. To Tim's point, I'm like, yes, at some point, Xbox is going to have to justify it with first party titles. They can't dance around them too much longer. Like, yo, y'all gotta put out games for your gaming console. It is what it is. But I think in terms of what it's offering in terms of back catalog, hey, when it jumps to 30 next year, hey, deal with it. Deal with it or get out the bus. Sorry. Like it's you're not getting this anywhere else. All the other gaming companies are telling you, especially Nintendo, either you buy it at full price or I don't know what else to tell you. So,
yeah, and they never have sales.
Never. And when they do, is it a sale really? Here's this 5-year-old title for $40. Oh wow, thanks Nintendo. I've been waiting all 6 years to play Super Smash Brothers at a discount. Thank you. So like I really don't have much critiques for this decision. My only eyebrow raising thing, and then we can kind of move on, is Xbox did kind of follow this up with the commercial about how you no longer need an Xbox to play Xbox, because now you can just kind of stream games off the Xbox app off your smart TV. What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about Xbox's push to just go more cloud-based, stream-based, no console?
I think it's an arm. It's not the body. It's not that. It's just an arm. It's another convenient measure. It's an ecosystem they're building.
Yeah, it's an outlet. It's an outlet.
Yeah,
like if the technology is there, why not advance yourself?
But you guys don't feel like they're focusing again on the wrong things? Like you have this ecosystem of what games?
No, that's fine. That's fine. You're right. But I have a house. All I gotta do is turn on the water. Mm-hmm. Once we get water, we have a running house, a pool. As long as the foundation is set, that's what they're interested in building right now. Now that they have the games, they need to figure out how to run it and how to actually build a consistent team, so where now they can build an ecosystem of working, getting titles out there, right? Last thing they want is bad publicity. Oh, this game didn't come to fruition, because now the people that were in charge of Halo, they no longer are. Their speculations are that they're going to give the game to somebody else.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that they might be losing.
They're just going to oversee it, because So if for a company to do that and rip it out of your hands, listen, we're going to find somebody else who's going to do the job for us, because obviously you guys weren't thorough or honest in your opinion, or honest throughout the process of the game being created. We're done. And so, they're not playing right now because they understand, okay, we have all this piping, we have this nice house, and nobody's in there. Nobody's living in there. So what good is it? I mean, you're not going to spend all this money, buy all these acquisitions for it not to work.
True.
Right? Who's going to try to convince a Microsoft company to get back in the game?
Give me a couple more billion. Yeah. Give me a couple billion so I can, I guess my only other thing that I do question is, like, do you guys feel like at some point they're going to have to abandon the Xbox Series S? Like, granted, it's been their bestseller, but a game like Black Myth Wukong, which is not coming out because they haven't figured out how to run it on the S. Baldur's Gate 3 got delayed because they couldn't figure out how to run it on the Xbox on Series S. It's like, I get it that it's you have your tiers, like you said, like you have these ways to allow people into the gaming space who just can't afford a higher price device, and that's great. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But this insistence of like it must run on the X and the S seems to be doing more harm than good from an outsider perspective.
You should just use resources to like make a mini console.
Yeah, but then it's like
useless now, because now you got the cloud-based TV people. It's useless now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's pointless now. It's dead already. Once they did that deal with Amazon, they made their money back too.
Yeah, so I do feel like they're also trying to really cut back on certain hardware, which I think is good, because at least that's resources that could be directed towards something else.
Okay, I could see that. I just, to me, I'm like, I think at some point it's like all roads have to meet in the middle, right? Of like clearly Xbox had they're all in on they want to embrace a streaming type future for gaming. How they go about doing that remains to be seen, but it does kind of seem like, okay, something has to give somewhere. And like you said, Tim, it's like the hardware focus doesn't seem to be the priority right now. So it's like you got to abandon something at some point, right? It's like at some point the Nintendo 3DS store has to close. So I kind of feel like with Xbox, like at what point do you give us something like this is a noble idea? Glad that you allowed this entryway, but what are we talking about right now? Like you guys have gotten none of the games, like the big blockbuster games, day one because you have to have this admittedly inferior technological hardware run this current gen game. So I mean, that was just more my question for y'all. Like, what do you guys think about like? Does the steps that Xbox are taking, does it look like it's leading to a unified front? Like Jory said, like you're building a house that makes sense for your occupants, basically.
I would think so, yes. Because especially since Xbox is more of a westernized ecosystem in terms of like hardware, audience, things of that nature. I do feel like they're trying to really accommodate with what is really present and up to date over here as well. Yeah, man, because when you really look at it, we even spoke about this in past conversations, like the PS2 era and how the PS2, the GameCube, and then even like the early Xbox years, like it was a much more subtle ecosystem. But after a while, once the 360 came into the fold, it's just everything changed. Everything changed so much. And we've seen the good of it, and we also seen the very toxic and very like what is going on here side of
Yeah.
things. And I do feel like as of now, especially since all the companies are taking hits on multiple fronts, they're trying to really regulate, like, all right, how can we get much better back to a much more healthier state where we can still operate and still make profit?
Okay. That makes sense to me. I think, like I said, I just haven't seen it. It seems like there's a plan, but not every single announcement seems to lead back to that same plan. At least to me. Espering, what do you have any thoughts on that before we move on?
No, I mean, I feel like I'm in the dark with some things regarding Xbox. I don't know what direction they're going right now. Honestly, their message isn't clear. And because it's not clear, it seems as if they're being very devious. They kind of want people to forget what's like, okay, we made a mistake. They kind of just want to sweep it under the rug. Take some notes from your competitors, Sony. They do a very good job of making their message clear on certain things, and when it's not clear, they clean it up next day to where it's very clear.
Immediately, yeah.
And they follow up on it. I think Xbox messaging needs to get better. And they need to be honest. They need to stop just, hey, look, this is what we wanted to do, and be thorough, be very straightforward. Don't treat your customers like they're incompetent. You're just gonna continue to build a distrust for the platform.
Right.
You want people to be on board with you. You want to be beloved. You're gonna have to do things to where people will respect the brand. And I feel like you're just waiting to get us so that you can kind of, trick us again or disappoint us again to the point where we can't leave. We have no choice but to stay. And so I think they just got to fix their messaging.
Okay. I think that's fair. I think that's a great way to close it out. Like, I think, again, how I opened it with the PlayStation Plus, right? Like, to your point, it's like, we all know it sucks, right? But that don't mean I'm giving up my PS5 anytime soon. I just know I'm like, hey, like, for all the things I like about Sony, this particular thing is not great, but the things that they do stand in, I like enough to still be loyal to the brand. And I'll continue to do so as long as it makes sense for me. So yeah, that's a good point, and we'll segue now. I felt like when I was looking up topics for this week, I'm like, man, it's we don't make it the forefront necessarily of our podcast, but when it happens, and I feel like there's a lot of very black led topics on the docket today. One of them being the recent controversy in a game that most gamers know if they have not played yet is Genshin Impact. Now, this is not the first time Genshin Impact has fallen into controversy. It's a mobile game that is literally turned a company into a billion-dollar company over the course of its release. And they have recently been getting a lot of online backlash to the point that someone who doesn't play it like myself came across it, where they are now getting ready to gear up to release a region based, from what I understand, in West Africa. And some of the character leaks dropped, and some of the players noticed that a lot of these characters that were being revealed seem to be lacking melanin. A lot of melanin. Any melanin. And I've seen the back and forth of, hey, these are fictional characters. Let them make the world the way they want to make it. Who cares what they look like? If you don't want it, don't play it. And, we've heard that kind of rhetoric before. And my question is, what do you guys think about it? Now, while y'all give me your opinion, I'm going to bring up some example clips to kind of show the before and after. But what do you think about the Caucasianizing of traditionally minority characters?
I do feel like when you do anything of like African background, yes, you got to really discuss the history of it. Okay. When you really understand the demographics of Africa before, I would say, colonization, yeah, that aspect. Okay, East Africans, you could tell there's still like a black of mixer of like, standard, what you considered black, but then also like an Indian-esque look, because what is right there? India. And of course, there's tons of information about, the history between them, and because, they're so close. And of course, West Africa, you already know. And, the Northern Africans, yes, it has more of that, standard African look. But then and it's hard to even say that, but you understand what I get.
Yes.
Like the African look, but then also that Arab mixture as well. And of course, like, yes, South Africa, it's the same, it's the same thing. But then of course, the insert of, what happened from colonization, and then, the ones who stayed there. Yeah. And it's always going to be the elephant in the room. Like, yes, a white South African. It's always going to be the elephant in the room, because the moment you look at that person, you already know, like, yes, you were one of those people. Or you are the descendant of one of those people.
You're the descendant of
And I've come to realize that, when companies, they love to like kind of use that as a scapegoat, but then that is very, very tricky. And then also when you're using, I would say, like, when you're using other cultures that is not like dominantly the westernized culture or Eastern cultures, there's a lot of checks and balances people really need to consider before diving into this. Like, even when you're touching base on other like indigenous cultures of like South America, the Pacific, you got to come correct or not at all.
Yes.
But then it's always the thing. People think there's so much freedom, like, but we did our research and such. Like, no, bro, like, there's a lot of, you got to have some integrity. You got to have some integrity with that. And yeah, I saw some of the images and I was like, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring him up right now.
Because especially like when you're mentioning deities, it's like, no, bro, the real, like, that is, no.
Not much to get lost in interpretation when it looks like this. Let me show you. So this first picture I'm going to bring up, this is Aloran, if I'm pronouncing this properly. Now, on the left, you're going to see a version of how it's depicted normally in pictures. And on the right is how it was depicted in this other mobile game called Smite. So on the left is basically the deity that the culture is based off, like a Yoruban deity. The right is what Smite did with the character. Right, that was their depiction of it. Right, are we all like, okay,
yeah, that's fine.
That's cool.
That's yeah.
Now let me bring up how that compares to what Genshin Impact did. Let me see here. So this again, remember, same character. Now this is Smite's comparison compared to Genshin Impact's comparison to this same character. Genshin Impact is on the right.
Off with their heads, like they said in Robin Hood. Off with their heads, bro. No. That is a primary slap in the face. Slap in the face.
Yeah.
And it has become like an issue in terms of like, people say it all the time, man. The Bleach creators, they did justice towards black people, man.
Oh
But
yeah.
then everybody else is really just starting to like, if it's not the Killmonger haircut, it's it yeah. It's
It's
just
like we didn't even
it's very
try.
ignorant.
Yeah.
It's very, very ignorant, bro.
You know, it's like okay, it's like what's Dark Shine in One Punch Man? And
Oh
everybody,
yeah,
dude,
bro.
relax, man. It's just a joke. But then y'all want to go crazy for what's happening right now with Assassin's Creed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So honestly, I feel like that with the argument with the Assassin's Creed guy, yo, Yasuke really exists, and the Japanese people saying that he wasn't a samurai. I'm like,
Whoa,
dog,
park that
this,
topic for now. That we're gonna lead into Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed
yeah,
is its own
yeah.
segment.
Okay, so I'm just like, wait, what? I feel personally that with the Genshin Impact, the character design, nah, that's a negative.
Mhm.
Why? You obviously went to a specific region and you chose a deity. The deity is not going to look like that. And
Mhm.
now, if you want, oh well, we could do the deity however we want. Look at how Final Fantasy would portray Odin.
Mhm.
I said, okay, maybe I get what you're saying, but no, not for Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact's rhythm is consistent to how they view their humanoid deities.
Right.
Odin looks like an outworldly being compared to he doesn't have any human features. He
Mhm.
literally looks like a monster or
Mhm.
whatever you want to call it. So with that, with the Genshin Impact, man, I'm not rocking with it, man.
Mhm.
I think they deserve the flag. It's kind of like when they was changing that trainer white in Pokemon when they were drawing her white.
Which
I don't know if you
trainer?
remember the whole fiasco with that. They were literally changing the color pigmentation of the Pokemon trainer. She was a dark skinned woman, and they changed her white. One of the
Mm.
creators. This happened probably like a couple of years ago.
I mean, one of the biggest things for Pokemon I heard was the whole thing with Jinx.
But see, with Jinx, it gets a little tricky, right?
I
Because
was
it's
a
like
I was
it.
offended at first, but then I realized it's
It
not
wasn't. I don't think it
it
was
was racist.
blackface. Yeah, I don't think it was supposed to be.
It's that's how a genie looked in Jin culture. Same thing
Mm.
with Mr. Popo. Mr. Popo has a
But she's
turban
not a
in
genie.
Arabic.
She's not a genie. That's not what she's based off of.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Like apparently she's based off like like how we were talking about like Japanese folklore elements. When I saw the image, I was like, oh, so it kind of cleared it up, but then it was still very close to home.
Too
Mm.
close. A
That's
lot of them stuff
to
be
this
too
day.
close.
Jinx
Yeah.
has gotten no updates whatsoever
And
outside
I
of having a
doubt that it
pre-evolution.
will. Yeah,
True.
like yeah, it's it. You could.
Look
Jinx
at
was
how long
always.
Pokemon took to have
Yeah,
black people. We were
yeah.
fighting for Brock, but I was trying to tell people like, "Yo, listen, guys, as much as you want it, Brock is not us.
He's not.
But look at his
He,
hair. I said, guys, y'all, that's my problem with y'all. Y'all looking for confidence to where y'all need to find it in yourselves, man. You
right.
can't you can't find it externally, man. You gotta find it internally.
Every
Uh,
'90s baby claimed Piccolo's like, no, Piccolo's a black man. Like,
I'm
obviously, it's like,
sorry.
man, he is an
It's,
alien.
he's an
Like,
alien.
with antenna.
He's green.
He's green. Oob was about as close as we got for like a decade of like.
And then when I looked at Oob's clothing and I saw Oob's parents and his people and his tribe, I said, wait,
He's
he's
not
not.
black.
Look
Yeah,
at his hair,
he's not
you
black.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean he's of the black brown community.
Yes.
More
Yeah.
more on the end the brown side. But yes, that's always the issue with inclusion. Like like I said, I have very strong feelings. Like if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And
Same
that's
here.
just exactly how
Thanos
it is
will.
because there's certain things about you got to understand from the foundation up
Mm-hmm.
that you cannot expect these companies to really do you
Or
justice. I mean,
cultures.
this is a prime example. Like to be honest, they probably are using this, to really get the name of the brand stirring up again. Because like I said, clicks
Controversy
plays
works
online,
every
bro.
time.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like but then like for example, like look what happened with Sonic the Hedgehog when they first did the first design. Fans said no, and then immediately here's $5 million later. Here's the new design. But then they still use the old design for something good. That Chip and Dale movie, I was like, bro, they literally made Ugly Sonic relevant. I was like,
Yeah.
that was genius of how
But
they
see,
did that.
but that's why I feel like I get the whole thing on do it yourself, but I think sometimes like we have to call some of these companies to task because it's like, bro, like how is it that you're able to, obviously it's a Chinese based company. So like you got your Chinese culture in this game to the T, 1 for 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you can do it.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's
right.
true.
So I'm like,
right? You didn't turn nobody black.
Yeah, so why can't I expect that same level of detail if you're going to incorporate this culture?
Okay.
If you're not going to, right? If you're going to ignore it, whatever. But if you're going to, let me get that 1 for 1.
Now, see, but that's the thing. If they don't, that's where, people, of our particular background have to really take a stand. It's like, all right, well, if this bothers you solely, you got to attack the money. You got to attack the money. You have to hit it within social media. You have to do it. You have to really use the same elements that we're using because, we said this a while ago, like, look at like the reason why, for these anime clips, the reason why the animation is so heavy these days because they want people to cut them up and make reels about it.
Mm-hmm.
They want that free promotion from people like, yo, did you see the Shanks versus kid fight?
Mm-hmm.
One flash, boom, out of there. Like, yeah, and then they don't even show the actual episode clip. They just show the reel.
That's true.
They just
Even
show the reel.
like,
and then that's
Shanks
what inspires people. Well, let me watch the full episode.
Right. If they getting down like this, what else do they got going on this show?
Hey, they got me. And they got me.
And
they got me.
And to get back to this, you got to use that same form of media power and like voicing yourself for these type of things. Like, no, this is something that is blasphemy, and you have to really tag tag African pages because even as of recently, I've been following a lot of African mythology pages, and then if they were to see something like this, fire and brimstone,
lost it. Yeah,
fire and brimstone, because that is such a very passionate thing. And then these are things about culture, and especially men of our particular background that we hold dear to ourselves. Is that a culture is a big part of our identity.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's something that when you see something that is not of the proper representation, yeah, it's blasphemy to you. You are committing blasphemy before my eyes.
Yeah, bro. Imagine they're like, yeah, we're doing Genshin Impact Caribbean Edition, and we see Haiti, Jamaica, and the Bahamas, and the characters are like this.
Well, I mean, we do got.
No, we do, right? No, we do. We do. We got Chinese Jamaicans.
It's a simple fact,
white
Jamaicans. What do you focus on? Because
right.
if you're going to take a region like this, you got to showcase the variety.
Yes. 1,000%.
But then, like I said, you're talking about a deity, and I was like, no, bro, the deities look like the indigenous people who live
there. One thing only.
Not the people who came afterwards.
Right. Yeah. There's a reason why people were tight when Gods of Egypt came out, and the gods look like.
Boy, yeah, that was crazy. Boy, I could not process what was taking place. Not only that, you guys played the Samurai Warriors. You could play as Zeus. Y'all get Zeus correct, Athena correct. I'm like
to the
T. Y'all even added in y'all flair to them. So now when it's time for now when you guys want to go focus on other cultures, this is what you give. What are you saying? What are you guys saying in your board meetings? Oh, well, they're not gonna like it, so therefore we're not gonna. Even with the Black Panther, to be honest with you, I ain't surprised. They put Black Panther in full costume in the Chinese
international poster. Yeah.
So why should and Finn? What did they do with him in the Star Wars cover? They shrunk him.
They photoshopped him to the
they
back
photoshopped
of the back. Yeah.
To look like the RNC stamp, the trademark stamp. Like that's how smart. That's how much they shrunk him. Yeah, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah, and to that point, I do want to share, a couple of clips that I came across while doing research on this, of people speaking up and kind of leading to like a redesign of like, hey, if you wanted to do this with this character, why didn't you do this? So here is just a couple
even
of
the
things.
Emo look is like no.
Right, so this was something that was done.
That's not bad. That's not
bad. Somebody else took their hand to it too.
That's not bad. That's actually pretty dope. It kind of gives me like that arcane vibes,
Mm-hmm.
like you could tell there's a futuristic type of aspect to it that is
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily like, it doesn't have to be the traditional like how you would portray an African deity, but like let's just say, like how, what they did in Marvel when they said there's people who they find humans to be their avatars. Like this could be like, the human avatar of the modern age. Like, yes, I have West African blood and I am the avatar of such and such.
Right.
That is actually pretty dope.
Yeah, and the thing I liked about both designs is that they still stuck to, like you said, like the emo design that apparently they were going for with this character. Like, okay, you want to do emo? Do a person of color emo. Like, why do we have to lose the melanin in order to portray this your depiction of this character?
It's ignorance, man. It really is
Mm,
ignorance because we've seen it a while. In games like the signature. Oh, blonde hair, blue eyes.
hmm it's almost like such a again it's almost like old school Hollywood in the sense of like, do you really feel like no one else but this demographic watches movies? Like even with this, like you think Genshin Impact made it to $1 billion with nobody of color? You really believe that?
Crazy, man.
How?
Crazy.
Like how can that be? So I mean, any closing thoughts on that before we move on? As far as
Yeah, I would say, what were their intentions? That's really what I really want to understand. Like, what's their thinking process in doing this character? Because it's like it's so baffling.
it could be
Like,
something as simple as willful ignorance.
Yeah,
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 There's like willful ignorance of like, again, it's our characters. It's a fictional character. It's not the real thing.
yeah. And I do feel like, yeah, it's willful ignorance, bro. And then sometimes, it kind of goes back to a quote that I heard from Inside Man. People do things because they can,
Mm,
because they feel
yeah.
like like how you said, that money and power just makes people feel untouchable. Like, oh yeah, the voice of a couple of people, but then they're going to be the ones making reels about us. We're still making money off
Mm,
them. And
mm,
to an extent that is true. Unless you really know how to really fight on an economical scale, that's what happens.
right. They'll let us rally and raise our pitchforks and torches and like, well, back to printing money with this game. So to kind of keep it in the gaming spirit and to move on to a topic that S Rank had covered prematurely, let's kind of get into a similar topic when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? Like Assassin's Creed Shadows, you would have thought that by now this would have kind of died down a little bit because it was so like laughably outrageous that you're like, there's no way people are like dying on this hill of how they feel about this. But we're really in a space where we're finally getting a Japanese based region in terms of Assassin's Creed, and people are hot to the point of like making up fake news about how the Japanese quote unquote feel about having a black character, a historically proven black character in this game. All right. So how do you guys feel about, the Assassin's Creed that's going to have not only the person of color, but a woman as the dual protagonist? What's
Honestly,
this?
I,
bro, I'm sorry for cutting you off, Jory. Like, this is
yeah,
something that is you got to really call it exactly for what it is. It's racism and patriarchy, bro.
Hmm.
Especially as we're seeing, the shifts in politics again, you're really starting to see the real heart of a certain demographic of people once more. Because as the leaders who, continue to uphold those simple views, as they're, I'm not trying to say that power never left, but then they're just like removing the veil. Like they're really
Hmm.
like just getting away from the illusion, like, oh, we've progressed past this. No, we have not.
Right.
It is the simple fact, like, yes, he is a black male and she is a woman.
Mm-hmm. And not only a woman, a Japanese woman.
Yeah,
Like,
it's racism and patriarchy. That's exactly what it is. What
mm,
is so wrong with playing as a character like this? But then when you look at it like this, to say like an anime like Blue Eyed Samurai, everybody finds this to be so dope.
Right. Oh, this is amazing. Oh my gosh.
Like
Oh,
this is amazing. But what is so wrong with playing as a female protagonist now, and especially like especially where Assassin's Creed is not going now, like they're all just new stories based on different time periods of now. Because I think they dropped the whole Desmond story. I think they dropped
They've
that.
been dropped that.
They
Yeah.
needed to get rid of that. Are you
Yeah,
related to everybody on the planet?
Yeah. Just
yeah.
a
So
lineage of just amazing people.
Like
Okay.
you just that raw. Where's the kingdom
Yeah.
now, huh?
yeah, so it's just a simple fact, man. Like, it's just it's yeah. You got to go for the root of it, man. And I mean, to be honest, I do feel like the game will sell still very, very well because as much as people are complaining, like I said, there's so many people in this video game space that they need their streams. So they're
Mhm.
going to buy the game just to talk about it.
Yeah.
Just to talk about it.
To be fair, I my thought would have been that this game's biggest hurdle would have been is the Ghost of Tsushima comparisons, right? Like we've seen how the Ghost of Tsushima comparisons has kind of halted Rise of Ronin dead in its tracks. Like people were talking about it, Rise of Ronin, and now they're not anymore. And my thing would be like, I wonder how this is going to stack up to the Ghost of Tsushima, like one for ones.
Oh,
But
but
now it's
then
like we haven't even got there. We're still focused on the fact, like,
but then
why is
that's
this
also
black man?
gonna
Am I,
but then
you
that's
know?
also gonna be to the benefit of this game as well. Because people are going to buy it just to compare the different
Mm,
mechanics of it.
mhm,
And then, of course, like it's all building up like an ecosystem as well, because like a lot of people watch Shogun just because of these particular elements that are out right
mm,
now. And
mhm.
of course, people are raving for season two, and then the Ghost of Tsushima movie is eventually going to be in the works. So I do feel like they're all complementing each other in a very good, decent way. But it's just, yeah, like I said, man, it's a lot of hot air because people are going to buy
Okay.
it. People are going
Okay.
to buy it just because. And then, to be honest, man, it's part of the season. Like like I remember when God of War came out, the whole craze for Norse mythology, and then Assassin's Creed did the same one as well. So like you're seeing the same spirit of things here. Like
Hmm.
yes, fundamentally God of War is an entirely different game with different types of mechanics, but it's just a simple fact, man. It's here. It's here and it's present. And you gotta love it for the beauty and the art of it, but it's a lot of hot air.
Yeah, I agree. I'm like, and it's not even like I could maybe even understand the argument if they're like, hey, they made up a fictional black person that doesn't exist for this feudal Japan. I'm like, but Yasuke is a real person. Like they drew from an actual person that walked the earth in Japan. Like it's just like where I don't understand. Like it's just not like diversity inclusive. Like he's a real person in this demographic. But S rank, we cut you off early. What was your thoughts on all this and how this is all playing out?
No, you kind of see how people just kind of weaponize, or they'll hide behind they'll hide behind even if they have
It's
a
about
point,
the
they'll hide
historical
behind.
accuracy, not the
Yeah,
racism.
but yeah, they'll hide behind it. But from my
Mm,
my opinion, okay, I don't agree that Yasuke should have been the main character.
okay,
Personally, I
okay.
feel like he should have been probably a side character.
I
And
mean, technically, he's not the main protagonist.
yeah, I mean, I felt like the main protagonist should have probably been. I was expecting an Asian guy to be a main protagonist because that's
Mm,
what I wanted. And then
mm,
you could have had. I don't see why there couldn't have been three playable characters. You could have had three. You could have had him, his clan lady, and after that, boom, Yasuke. That'd have been a cool story. Do something different, like a little Grand Theft Auto. Um, yeah, you could have did a three-way. Some people,
But what
I
type
don't.
of fighting style? Because you have an assassin and you have the noble warrior. Remember, that was also the theme of Ghost of Tsushima as well. The noble samurai who fights virtuously versus the
And
assassin who was looked at
and
as a
to
coward. So if you're introducing a third character, what would that be?
they probably have to
and
be an
to
archer, to be
Yeah,
honest.
and then another thing is why go after the Ghost of Tsushima? I'm not comparing it to Ghost of Tsushima as far as gameplay and ideas either. That's not how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it
Mm,
as an Assassin's Creed game. I'm not
mm,
looking at it from the eyes of Ghost of Tsushima the way they see this person as a coward. I know a ninja's place. You already move like a ninja in Assassin's Creed, so I get to be a ninja, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he'll be a different variation of ninja. You have the Kimitsu ninjas. The female ninjas, they use a different aspect where they would lure him in with their appeal. And versus you have the other ninjas, the other types of ninjas that were they're different types of ninjas. They use
Mm-hmm.
different types of techniques. I was expecting different clans and different clan inheritance of styles of interpretation of ninjutsu or whatever they'll use. And then you'll have your warrior. I wasn't asking for that. I was expecting straight up assassin, you know, an assassin. I was expecting to play as ninjas throughout the entire game, but this is the curveball they threw. So yeah, and I don't know why they went that direction. To well, we need a samurai because of Ghost of Tsushima. I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but
You
we've
know,
seen the industry over the past 5 years.
yeah,
Everyone's like, "What's that?" I'm making my own version.
no, that's fine.
Unfortunately,
That's
you
fine, but
know.
I wasn't expecting it, especially with the rep that Ubisoft is making. It just made more sense to me in my head for them to do the easiest thing possible was to make an Assassin's Creed Ninja game about
Mm-hmm.
ninjas.
Mm-hmm.
You could have pulled from Ninja Scroll. You could have pulled from.
No,
You could.
you're right.
You
You're
know.
right. That
That's
is
what
a
I was.
genre, a subgenre that's not tapped into as much as it could be, for sure.
And then it just like, yo, you guys had free reign. People were begging for this ever since Ezio. So why, you know? But that's not what we got now.
But you also got to realize, just like how, we were talking about with fighting games, the time period kind of like, or I would say the time period of this predicts the roster. So that's why, like, yes, samurais and ninjas is like two different codes or two different walks of life. And it's just like, and remember the last game, that was a failure, bro. It was like the game released and it was just like dead on arrival. So they
Mirage.
needed
Yeah.
something of like familiar elements to really draw people in. And like I said, and then the last piece of Yasuke material that we got was borderline trash.
Oh,
So like I do
Afro
feel like
Samurai
there was
Light.
a space for that because you need it because I feel like they're also using controversy as momentum for marketing
Mm.
because yes,
Boy, Tim, you
this
never tell a lie. The black man in me is like, I'm not an Assassin's Creed player these days, but now I'm like, I should just cop out of support, like to make
yes,
sure they don't fail.
yes, and it's just like bro, like the headlines are just in it alone from game on websites, all of these things. And then, like I said, it's just they want people to market this game for them. And controversy is one of the best ways to do it. So that's why you took two elements. Okay, the main male protagonist is a black male, and then the other main protagonist is a woman. Like how you said, like we just said, racism and patriarchy, bro. So like they know that these are driving forces for people. They know it. They know it. They absolutely know
Yeah.
it. And then
And
you also wanted to bring something new because like, all right, yes, if he was a standard Asian guy, to be honest, bro, it was just gonna get lost, like how the last
Yeah,
title was.
our eyes would have all glazed over. Let's be for real.
Yeah, because like as you can see, like ever since Black Flag, to be honest, they've been on a very hard state, man. Every title outside of I would say like Odyssey or
Valhalla sold
Origins,
pretty well.
or out of those two, like Black Flag, Odyssey, Origins, out of those three, everything else is just kind of just been whatever.
Okay.
Even Valhalla was kind of just like okay.
I mean, Valhalla still sold well, but I see what you're saying. Like in terms of the game itself, there wasn't
I mean, even with the game has already put itself in a position to where nobody cares as much as they should because it's another Assassin's Creed game. We asked for this now, we don't want it because Ghost of Tsushima already fulfilled the need for us, right? So with Yasuke, I personally I understand where people are coming from to where like, yo, you're gonna finally, some people like, yo, I wanted to play as somebody who was you're finally coming to my country. Why not? Why can't I indulge in my culture as playing as someone that looks more like me? I can understand that part because we obviously didn't like what's happening with Genshin Impact. I'm not happy about it because I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And people are hiding behind like the game called Kinzara. Tales of Kenzara. You remember that? You sure with that? You can go ahead and look it up if you can. That studio closed down because they were like, oh, this is just another they kind of weaponized the whole Sweet Baby Inc. movement, and they kind of like funneled and channeled all their anger towards the studio. But I didn't even look at it that way. I was like, oh, he's an actor, by the way, who started the studio. And because they protested it or they treated it the way they did, they didn't even check the game out. They kind of just made assumptions without even playing it. So with the George Floyd going on can we even say that? Is it gonna get monetized? Yeah. Oh, okay. With them putting the George Floyd face on the
bro, that was crazy.
That
show, but yeah, that was crazy.
That proved to me that okay, this really just isn't about it being Yasuke. It's you're hiding behind the fact. Yeah, that game got to me the game looked fine. I was happy the game came out, but boom, now it might get delisted. I don't know. But there was a whole thing about this on the internet. Oh, this is another forcing us to this, that, and I'm like, from what I saw about the game, they're not even forcing anything. They're not even having an agenda. It's just a black character. They're forcing this black character for us to play as this black character. And I'm like, no, don't play as him. You know, and they did. And then now they didn't have that energy for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Like the protagonist in that game is clearly a black man. I'm confused as to what the issue was.
Once you really understand the true demographics of what these areas are, black and brown people, it, like I said, bro, it goes back to the root of things. Like, because first of all, as people, was brought into their society through very rough means. Look how much of their media we absorb. We watch their shows,
bro.
We absorb. We buy their products.
We watch shows about trash Caucasians, rich Caucasians, middle
everything,
America Caucasian. Yeah.
So, but it's
with
just
no prejudice.
But it's just come to the point where, like, when something is outside of them, that main character syndrome kicks in.
Yeah.
Like no. Like, why are you doing this? Like, it's everything is about me. And it really shows in a very destructive way, bro. Like that, all this, like, like even with Joyce said, this mask of like, oh yeah, we're inclusive. No. Because once it reaches a pinnacle point, the real character starts to really show. So yeah, man, it's a heavy topic, man, but it goes to show you, man, this is why, like, even with me, what I do in my personal life, I am very focused about industries and foundations built from the ground up by us and for us. Because this whole inclusive matter, it's a minefield, bro. It's an ever-going minefield, and you just never may know that 1 inch of a foot that you just took.
I mean, it's not real to me, in my opinion. I never believed it to be, in all honesty. Like, kind of like how if you're a redheaded character, you're gonna be swapped out with the black character all of a sudden. Even with My Adventures of Superman, Jimmy Olsen's a black kid.
He is, yeah.
So all the characters, I don't know what they have against redheads, but every redheaded character is replaced by and it's true, right? My thing is, it falls back on the people, the black community, because it's being weaponized in a way to where we both don't like how it's both parties don't like how it's being done. Like, yo, you're treating us, you're giving us these handouts versus versus starting something new and afresh from the ground up. Back to Assassin's Creed, I was expecting an Asian guy. For me, I did find I didn't find it weird for Yasuke to be in the game. I kind of was hoping that he was, because he's in Neo. He's in Neo 1 and he's in Neo 2. They call him the Obsidian Samurai. You know what Obsidian is, right?
Yeah.
He's also in a lot of Samurai Warrior games. He's in the mangas. Yeah. He's not a fictitious character. A retainer was just like an armed security guard may not be a cop, or a CIA agent is not a cop, but he is indeed he's classified as an armsman, right? So he's an enforcer. There are different branches. So a retainer is exactly that. So the comics where he was just a retainer. Like, do you know what a retainer was?
Right.
It was a government. It was a status. It still had status. So with that whole episode going on about Yasuke, I can understand to where people are upset with the main character not being
they expected
what they expected.
Mm.
I could understand that, because for me, I do see a pattern in Legendo to where they're removing characters to where like it didn't need to take place. Like now it's just you're just being malicious and you're attacking. You're using the Caucasian male to attack more than just the Caucasian male.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's just that's the,
at that point.
Yeah, the typical black and white, but there's a lot more layers to it.
There's a lot more layers to it, and so it's for me. I'm not really. I'm not a fan of the the character swapping to a great degree. I'm not a fan of it. Yeah. I feel like if you're gonna do it, let it feel organic. A lot of it doesn't feel organic. Yeah. Like playing as 2B felt organic. Didn't even think about it. Yeah. Playing as Bayonetta didn't even cross my mind that I'm playing as a gunslinger woman who uses her hair to fight. But that's unique to her. You understand? It wasn't. She's an original character.
You're saying what I said last Kombat about the I spoke about the whole gender swapping thing. I'm like, listen, I'm also not for. I'm like, listen, you're creative. This thing that we're witnessing and taking part of is a result of your creativity. Create something that fits this universe. Create the black character that feels at home in my adventures with Superman. Why haven't y'all done anything with Steel in 20 years? Like there's certain ways to go about this.
Some of the best episodes in Superman. Superman goes to the hood.
Like there's just certain ways of like it doesn't have to be like, let's swap out this traditionally so and so character with a such and such character for inclusive sake. Like, or and hear me out, just make a new character in this new continuity of whatever it is that you're doing.
I just think the timing's bad, man. The timing for these things it's because everybody's going to be looking at it with a pitchfork on both sides.
Or to Tim's point, it's the perfect timing because ka-ching, right?
Controversy sells. If that's the angle that they're going for, then
mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. If I see Kanye West in the credits, then yeah, man, hats off. And and that could be very true. But I do feel like it's just more of the polar opposite with certain things because of the level of consistency. Yeah, like that new Star Wars is a dud, man, and it's obviously for many reasons.
It doesn't come from a genuine place. But all right, I think we hit all of our points. But I think we should have some fun, fellas. Those are heavy topics that we just discussed. I think there's also other black topics that come up this week that are a cause for celebration of some sort. So I'm going to play a clip first before we get into this next. I'm going to let the clip segue us into this next topic of ours, of traditional black culture in 2024.
Okay.
Don't call me. I'm on NCAA. God and Jesus can walk earth today. Don't call me. I'm on NCAA. My girl can get caught in 4K having foreplay. Don't call me. I'm on NCAA. My son can get kidnapped and it's a ransom they want me to pay. It won't be today. I'm on NCAA. My sisters can be homeless and need somewhere to stay. Don't call me. I'm on NCAA. My mama can need me to rush her to the hospital because she got stung by a stingray. Don't call me. I'm on NCAA. My best friend can get robbed and be butt naked on the freeway. Don't call me. I'm on NCAA. I'm in a relationship. I'm doing things the single way. I don't care if World War III started today and we all need to play. Don't call me. I'm on NCAA.
Now that pulpit speech was from the good brother, Haha Davis, on all social media platforms. Fellas, it is the return of EA College Football 2025 this week. As of this recording, it'll be out officially tomorrow. And as Brother Mikhail has so eloquently stated on previous pods, there are just certain things that go unspoken in the black culture. One of them being Tekken, another thing being Madden, and then the sports game of your choice that kind of falls in the in-between. Fellas, how do we feel with the return of college football to all modern platforms? in this day and age.
Hey, listen, all of my cousins are happy. They are so happy. Because it's a weird void, man. Like, yes, technically, Madden gives that professional football. Actually, you can't even just call that signature professional football. It's just like there's such a connection to college sports. Just the experiences that we've had as young men.
Mm-hmm.
There is a very big connection because when you really look at college sports, you see you.
Yes.
You see you.
Mm-hmm.
You see men, like you see the prime of their youth, and I feel like it's that connection that delivers in the experience. It was a void that was missing, man. It really was.
Yeah.
It really was. Now, I still feel the same way about sports titles, so let's just see how that goes for the long run.
Right.
If they say like, hey, yeah, we're gonna just keep doing updates until we do some groundbreaking new gameplay mechanics, by all means, that'll be beautiful. But
that would be beautiful, honestly.
It's going to sell, man. It's going to sell
Mm-hmm.
just by the hype alone, bro. Like the day that they first released the trailer, like people were looking for their college, bro, their university.
Yeah.
They was freeze framing every last single second. And then, to be honest, bro, like even your girl is about to watch that because, girls are big on their college sports too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Like we all know a girl, especially, I even in my adult life, Gators throwing up the U. Like it is not it's not something where it's like, you see, like you said, to your point, Tim, you said on the couch to turn the game on and now the girl walks out the room. She'll be right there.
She's going to be right there.
They got in the game.
Hey, you know what's so funny? Right after certain games are done, you and your boys just going to pop that on, and then the party's just going to be extended by another 2 hours, bro.
Yep.
It's about fellowship, man, and that's what they want. That's what they want. So that's A1 right there, bro. That's a seller.
To add on to this point, we had a coworker, you remember Lewis?
Yeah, of course.
He does not watch the NFL. He watches college basketball. College football.
Yeah. The argument has always been that college sports are a lot more competitive.
Yeah.
Like there's no more of the polish. It's
And he's like, yeah, I don't care about that, man. Or is it the other way around? I think it's college. Yeah, he cares about college, and like for everybody that I at least spoke to in my existence, they love college football more than they do the actual NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And then I enjoyed when I used to play the sports games. I don't care for them anymore. To Tim's point, because I'm not gonna buy this copy over and over again.
Yeah,
just for
this glitch fest. But
it's a new roster,
right?
You could just
VLC
downloadable, bro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just that download, and then now y'all gonna charge me for a Grand Theft Auto world to where we just play sports only. Come on.
Yeah.
The day Grand Theft Auto gets a football team,
it's over.
You can play football. You can sign up for. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to get your guys' thoughts, right? I think it's
I'm happy.
Like,
it's good.
Like Tim said, like to his point, we all know somebody that's like, bro,
they got a young CEO. They definitely got a young CEO in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. He had I don't know who he had to throw bodies over there. It's a new because we don't need a college football. Are you sure about that?
No, honestly, bro, it's a simple fact that EA has been taking a lot of hits, man.
Mm-hmm.
Taking a lot of hits. Like, to be honest, their last, I would say, success was Jedi Survivor.
Yeah,
and that's a niche.
Yeah,
if you don't like, that's a niche. So imagine something that is more of a general audience.
Mm-hmm.
They need this money, bro. They need this.
Yeah. And to your point, Tim, I think the long game, we'll see how it plays out, right? I'm like, if they turn this into another churning, right, the way they do Madden, where it's like it's just a glitchy release every year, roster update, minor tweaks, is this going to fall apart like all the rest of them do?
Yeah.
But if they, because like you said, it's going to sell. If they look at this as not just another way to print money and take it seriously, I think they could have another like hit. Like every company right now is looking for like, what's my next hit game that's going to be like a guaranteed result every single time, critical reviewed, flying off the shelves like back in the old days. I think this could be that for EA. After their string of just like, what is this? What is this? What is this? Like, to S Rank's point, I'm like, Outlaws, we'll see, right? I'm like, I'm sure there's an audience for it. I'm sure there's some people that might enjoy it, but we'll.
No, remember, that's Ubisoft.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I keep thinking that. Yeah. I keep thinking.
But hey, but they're the same company, guys. I'll do it for you, Lord Bison. And say, hey, put up the Bison emoji right next to me, please. Come on, it's done.
Yeah, no, I got more sound effects coming soon. Don't worry.
Oh man, it is done, man. We don't even need to go any deep.
It's a celebration. Let's talk positive. So let's talk positive. You know, I don't think. Yeah, given how I know y'all, like I know we're not copying, but the energy is felt. We know someone who knows somebody who is copying this game, who has it, who got the Ultimate Edition, who was playing it 2 days early because college football is back. And I just wanted to, it's only right as a gaming anime podcast that we highlight.
No, it's gonna. I'm overall happy about it, man. I might even get back into it again if I feel like it. But overall, man, it's and that's definitely because of money, man. It's definitely because of money. It's definitely because they finally found a way to pay the players. So now it came back out,
which is fine, right? I'm like,
fine.
We live in a capitalist society, right? No one's doing this strictly out of their heart, right?
Not anymore.
But if everybody can eat, right? If the company's gonna make the money, the players are gonna make the money, and the consumers get a good game, hey, no complaints here. And, like I'm not, waving my injustice flag. I'm like, yeah, you guys put out a great product, and you deserve to be rewarded with sales. So.
Yep.
I'm glad to see it. I hope it continues a trend of them releasing games that people want. Now, could we get an NBA Street reboot? I'd love to see it.
Nope.
But we'll see, right? We haven't seen EA Sports big in a decade. So it remains to be seen. But all right, we can move on. In terms of fun, right? Or in terms of hopefully fun, right? And, other trailers were released within this week. As we all know, it's Evo week. Evo actually starts tomorrow, going to the weekend. And Mortal Kombat, has been not going out without a fight. Let's just say not going out without a fight. And they went ahead and released a trailer for Takeda. I'm gonna go ahead and play it so we can all watch it as a pod family, even though I'm sure we've all seen it, and kind of give our thoughts on, the return of the one combat kid that was universally appreciated. Let me say there was no pushback as far as do we like this guy. I think most people like this guy.
Your horns will look great on my wall.
I am not the hunted here, Earth Realmer. Fight.
Watching this reminds me of like,
Ooh, let's say I pair you with an archer, couple of soldiers.
I don't want to be in some super team action movie.
wink, wink. But it just reminds me of like, NetherRealm can cook when they want to when it comes to ninja-based characters.
I mean, honestly, what I was thinking about is like how cool Shao Kahn is, man. Like that's one of the coolest versions of Shao Kahn ever. The axe instead of the hammer.
Genji was right. You are scary.
Our combat will frighten you further.
Waste. This game should have been so much more.
Yeah. Right, if only all the DLC characters look like this.
Finish him.
That's Sector, right? The red one?
Yeah.
Fatality. Takeda wins.
Fellas.
I'll go first.
Curtains.
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Tim.
Okay, like on the positive sides, yeah, like he's the only other promising character other than him and Ermac. Like I do feel like he's going to be a very solid character. Even his backstory changes, I'm not really upset about that because people also have to understand the facts. In the original universe, Kenshi was much older. Like Kenshi was like in his late 40s or something like that. Because when you really look at the combat kids, they were like in their early 20s.
Yes.
That Mortal Kombat X, like after
Was a
they defeated
huge
Shinnok,
time skip.
like that was a huge time skip, bro. So you got to look at it. You got this young Yakuza dude who's probably like in his early 30s. You're really expecting a 20-year-old kid just to come out of nowhere? No. So like, yes, like, all right, he's the cousin, and then, and you could tell this is a story part, and this is where the negative comes in. So you mean to tell me, like, all right, due to the bond that the Earth realm was made with the, the ex-members of the Lin Kuei, who are now the Shira Ryu, it's like, I would have loved to see this in the story mode. Like, there was a particular chapter, like, since Kenshi joined Earth realm, he neglected his Yakuza duties. And, they said, Kenshi was Takeda was part of the Yakuza as well. Something happened on the mission. He was hurt. And instead of like him going back to the Yakuza, he let him find, sanctuary with the Shira Ryu, which he learned their techniques. That is cool. That is great to me. I just wish, like, bro, like, I would love to see that. Because I feel like it would have made much a bigger impact on this character reveal and also the changes to the character. Now I do kind of funny, like, wow, so like they just kind of just axe the rest of the combat kids in a certain way.
Boy. Well,
but then,
not
to be honest,
way, in a literal way, they got killed.
But to be honest, that's what they say, the multiverse madness. In one universe you're this, in the next you're that, and that is just how it goes. It really is. Now, it's like, all right, so after this character releases, the real biggest question is what next? Because to be honest, this Takeda stuff that's leftover. That's just leftovers.
Leftover, what you mean?
Like leftovers, like basically it's not a surprise to me no more. What is the next big main course for this game that is going to save this game? Now, to be honest, it's like, you need to show something at Evo. You really need to show something. Like,
well, they are having a panel dedicated to year 2, to that point.
And honestly, Ed Boon, like, none of that cryptic hint stuff. Like, we need to know.
Oh wait,
it
might be at San Diego Comic-Con. It may not be at Evo. I'm sorry.
Comic-Con, I think.
Still the same thing. You can't do this cryptic stuff, bro. Like, we need to know. Because now it's time for some serious damage control, just like how it was with Melina and Combat Pack 2 for Mortal Kombat 11. It's time to do some damage control again, bro. You're gonna have to release Jade and Cabal, bro. Yeah. Really, you're gonna have to release Jade, release Cabal, release the people that they want, bro. Like,
yeah. Why isn't Cabal in this game? Why isn't Jade in this game?
Yeah.
No, but to be honest, bro, there's a lot of factions, and that's why I kind of felt like everything is like Earthrealm and these fairy tale world creatures is like, so like there's so many factions that are missing. Is like, you could tell the Yakuza, like you could tell they're definitely hinting the Red Dragon. But then where's the Black Dragon? I'm like, oh yeah, but Kano's in the game. Like, no, bro, he's a cameo character. He's not in the game. And I kind of feel like that's also the negatives. Is like when you look at these trailers, they're relying too much on the cameo tie-ins and also animations. Like even like when Sector launched those missiles at you, is like so the fifth missile just like drills into your head and there's a boom.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't feel good. It just doesn't. Like, bro, this is an attack that you should obliterate somebody. Not just some like, oh, but he crushed his ribs the next time. Like, no, you should be dead after 5 missiles just hit you. Should be dead.
Yeah, it's that's right. Let me get your thoughts on it first. Go ahead, George.
I personally don't care for MK. It's past. To me, I'm already waiting for the next installment. It's because no, it's true, because what are they gonna do now to build the momentum when you had everything working in your favor to have perfection? You got Homelander and
Omni-Man.
That's like having Geralt of Rivia and Soul Calibur, and he is 2B. And then you have homie from Samurai Showdown. That's one of the greatest guest characters roster ever. This should have been exactly that. Now, okay, say he goes into the bag and he puts Conan the Barbarian. Who? Because he looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So we're going to save the assets and we're going to give him long hair. I don't care. Like, that's not a movie that's going to pull me. All right, okay, we go in, we bring Buddy from Scream.
Ghostface.
Who's that character for? I really want to play him in that game to where they chase all what's that game to where the you have to run from it's a very popular game.
Dead by Daylight.
Death by Daylight.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. I feel like now, because you've already botched the story, what wonderful works are you gonna pull out with this next DLC, the story DLC? Because to me, Mortal Kombat is the first game and the only game to where the story matters just as much as the characters that are in it and the gameplay.
I see what you're saying. So you're pretty much saying it's like you had the chance to reboot the story, you fumbled. You had the
grand
chance
fumble
to introduce some of the greatest guest characters to ever hit a video game. You fumbled.
You had the best version of Shang Tsung. Interesting way of combat. Flatline.
You killed him at the end of the game.
Killed him. Flatline. You killed him. I said, this is the greatest version of Shang Tsung. Like, his person, he was always a great villain, but now he's like, I could see how he can get himself out of a jam. This is the Shang Tsung that can get himself out of a jam. All that lore, all that buildup, you didn't learn your lessons from the stories that were doing these multiverses. You had the opportunity to tell a continuous story. And for me, with the gameplay, like the cameo system, man, just adding the tags, man. That's what that is. Just give us the tags. This would have been.
But remember, the tag system wasn't well received in MK9. I don't know why, but it wasn't well received.
No. Again, they're adjusting to today's times. Tag systems are what everybody's going crazy for. MK9 tag system wasn't well received because we didn't have people that had a brain at the time. They didn't know that they needed this. So you as a company, okay, you didn't like it in this game. We shouldn't take it out. Just leave it there. And if you guys don't play it, don't play it. Well, why would we want to waste assets? No, you're selling me a game. Sell me a finished product. You don't even have a crypt that's even interesting, which was one of your alluring points. And it's not, that thing is terrible. You had the best version, the best designed versions of Ermac, and you give us this.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things for me is just not making sense. It's falling flat. I love the fact that this Sub-Zero was different, but none of it mattered. None of these characters doing these, going on these quest lines. Oh man, I was happy that I got a human reptile. Was he the personality that I wanted? No, but still a great character.
Still a personality.
Still a personality.
Not
right?
a henchman. A person.
Not a henchman. A
yeah.
personality, right? His story's a little different. Baraka, tragic story. I didn't think I'd care about Baraka. Now they made me care. But now it gets all the way to the point to where it doesn't even matter. The Deadly Alliance should have been not built in one day. You should have took your time with that storyline.
Yeah.
But
the thing that always blew my mind, like you guys, we already knew that they were looking. They said it from before that MK1 was going to be a game that people walk back on their things all the time, but their whole thing was we don't want to make the same mistake we made with MK11, where we felt like we cut the support a little bit too short. Like Ultimate should have had a little bit more to it. So with MK1, we wanted to do more with that. So I'm like, if you already knew in your mind we're going to do a story mode expansion, why would you blow through the entire storyline of Deadly Alliance and Armageddon in the main story mode? You're already making story mode DLC. So you've already written yourself into a corner out the gate.
And you want Chaos Realm Earth 3 Havoc? That's Aztec Havoc and Sub-Zero Quan Chi. Oh my! The character creation Mexican Goku thing is blowing my mind. I'm like, yo, who wrote this? Who wrote this, man?
The thing for me too, with like to your point of like, it's almost like you're hitting the random button. It's like when Tim put in the chat that Takeda was Kenshi's cousin.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie,
bruh. I was like,
now
what's the trading value on this game?
Now that you explain it,
no.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
No, it does not make sense.
Yes, it does.
You do not retcon a father and son duo as cousins.
Okay.
Actually, yes, you can, bro.
No.
That's the multiverse, bro. You could. The multiverse itself is a bunch of retcons.
Yeah. Okay. Hold up. I didn't remember that part. I thought he was Scorpion's son.
No, he's Kenshi's son.
Yeah, okay.
If we're gonna introduce, because you're gonna in the story, we're all hinting towards a multiverse havoc anyway. So the multiverse, it's not like one of these things where the multiverse doesn't play a part in the main timeline. The multiverse was the story mode. We fought a multiverse Shang Tsung, so we already accepted the fact that this main continuity is gonna have characters from different realities interact on a regular basis. Just introduce a Takeda from a different universe that come to the main timeline.
But then that also impacts a lot of dialogue that might be tricky territory. Because, like, all right, let's just say if you're fighting Kenji, like, hey, yeah, in this universe, you're my dad. Okay.
We saw it with Future Trunks and Vegeta. It all worked out then.
Okay, but bro, it takes build up, bro. That takes
yes, it does.
Take your time. Take your time. They don't blew it. They George Bush the button, dog.
But that goes back to the last episode where we talked about it, and that's part of the multiverse madness that I don't like, bro. You get lost in the sauce, man. You do.
That story should have been
you just get lost
sliced
in it.
bread. And then now the thing is, right? Every other game is playing at a 10. They're coming for blood. The next Tekken Momentum, if they don't mess this up, or Street Fighter that they drop, I mean, I'm expecting those games to last a while.
Oh yeah,
we're not going to get to another Tekken probably 28.
Yeah,
you
easily.
know.
No,
and
bro.
the way Street Fighter 6 is rolling, the way people.
No, bro. Like, I would say this Tekken. Because how long did Tekken 7 last? That lasted the entire PS4 cycle.
That's unique circumstances.
Yeah, that was an anomaly, bro.
Very unique. I don't think they want to wait that long. Personally, I don't think they wanted that to happen.
That was a
that's very
miracle.
Very unique circumstances.
I mean, however, how they handle. Remember, we said this past parts. This might be the last one, depending on how they handle things.
It could, and probably, to be honest, should. But Tim, you say it yourself, money, dollar signs will produce a new story that doesn't need to be there. But
I'm be honest. Yeah, I know y'all gonna smite me for this, kid. If Jun Kazuma is 80 years old and it's still a Mishima What's in the storyline? I'ma be there. It's a wrap for me.
I won't.
It's a wrap for me.
Nah,
It's a
bro.
wrap. I'ma be there.
If they make Reina's reign the next focal point of this Tekken storyline, whatever they decide to do, I am out. Sarah, nah, I'm done. I do not.
You gonna see me with the Jim Carrey. I'm gonna be Jim Carrey right there.
I do not care. We have done the Mishima storyline to death. But to get back to Mortal Kombat, I just feel like, again, looking at the trailer, watching with y'all, I'm like, yeah, Takeda looks cool. He looks cool. Mortal Kombat knows how to do ninjas. They do. They can give you pilot swap number 12, and pilot swap number 12 will be just as fire as pilot swap number 5. But it's just to your point, S rank, of like the story mattering with the characters. I'm like, but knowing his backstory in this game, I don't care. I don't care as much. Let me say.
Who all right, I got you even better, right? This is like getting DLC for Super Smash Bros. 1.
Elaborate.
Who cares?
Yeah, we both think with that one.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
No, it doesn't exist. But who cares? This is just a hypothetical. Who cares? Who cares?
But like I said on our group chat, like, is it fair? Like, do we expect Takeda to be the character to save this game or revitalize interest in this game?
But he doesn't even make sense. He wasn't even like when they presented Takeda in the trailer, he had gray hair.
Yeah,
he had wrinkles.
Right.
Yeah,
but remember, they retconned it. It's a
they,
lighting thing in that picture.
No,
I know. Because Tim had a whole theory about older Takeda or a different the person whose name is Takeda because of how he looked, and they just retconned, just like they retconned the look of Ermac. The Ermac that we saw in the DLC rollout was not the Ermac we got when he dropped.
It was garbage.
Yeah,
garbage.
Soft retcon for sure.
Yeah, and then like I said, bro, like I feel like the story would stick better if we saw it in the story. I feel like it would have been less of a backlash because, like, yeah, bro, like when you look, it's like, yeah, bro, Kenshi's like my age. There's no way he's gonna have a 20. But then also the multiverse aspect, like maybe this is Takeda from another place, but then I feel like they realized they messed up so bad with the ending that they're trying to really minimize on that as much as possible.
What are you gonna do for the next DLC installment?
Future Trunks.
And what characters are you gonna introduce? I already feel uncomfortable.
We've talked about it, bro. They're just gonna give us more ninjas.
Yeah, Quan Chi Sub-Zero?
No.
Well,
no,
more.
No. They're gonna give us.
He's a staff member. He's a staff member. He's already a staff member of the DLC. That's my thing. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, yo, what is this? Y'all couldn't make his lineup new characters? Like, I
think what Tim said earlier, and we could probably move on, is like, I think at this point it seems like the best they can hope for is damage control. Because at a core, most people are not rocking with the cameo system. And that's a fundamental part of the gameplay. So it's like, well, we can't drop Mortal Kombat 13. So we gotta just do what we can with what we have.
Yeah. They better Snyder cut this one. They better Snyder cut this, man. That's the only way, kid. The only way. They Snyder cut this, then I will say nothing. But why would I invest? Like, Tekken's already pulled me. Street Fighter's already got my attention with the DLC for Street Fighter is building momentum, if anything. Yeah. Especially with that last one. Me playing Bison. Who knew Bison was gonna be that fun to watch? Right? I'm like, yo, this is how you do it. Him showing up on the horse. They pulled him from the continuity of the actual movie.
Which is hilarious.
And then I thought that was genius. Yeah, but we all appreciate it because that's a meme in itself.
Yeah.
And now what we don't know what we're gonna get next second. Right? Yeah. Okay, if it's Murdoch, Faku Ramen, we already expecting that. We want the next next person. You feel me? Whoever it's gonna be.
We took a silent, a vocal agreement last pod. When the trailer drops, we need a live reaction from you, recorded. We need it. When they drop Faku Ramen, we need the Super SS rank reaction video.
And all the times I was right during podcast, I ain't smudge out with lightning, did I? Did I? No, I took the high road, but I remember this. I remember
We need
this.
it. The streets
I
need
remember
it,
this.
bro. The streets
I
need
remember
it.
it. All right. All
We
right.
need the
I
reaction
got you.
trailer.
I got you.
So yeah, man. I mean, like, I mean, it really does look like Fakuramen might be the next character, man. So we
I'm
definitely
disappointed.
need. Why? Well, I mean, he's a Baki character, bro. You should be happy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you already had a boxer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this
He's
is
a legacy character. That's my whole thing. Like, why would you want to switch now when you already like he's already a kickboxer? So like now, why would you want to go all tight? You know
Bro,
what I'm saying? Like,
bro, Bruce has been gone for how long? And you can't even count Tekken Tag 2. You can't even count that.
yeah, and they clearly have no like qualms about recycling similar move styles. Like Lydia's coming back as like a strong arm martial arts fighter. Like, pick a character on the Tekken roster that uses that type of technique. The similarities in characters is not where they're like, well, we got the one Muay Thai boxer. I guess that's it. It's like, no.
oh, so then, if you got these multiple karate people, why can't Bruce be in the game then?
Because he's dead.
No, he's not. He's not dead. He's not dead. He's not dead.
Like I said, bro, I just kind of feel like, they're also doing a lot of things from the virtual fighter aspect where they're picking people from a particular country that has a particular fighting style. So yeah, Muay Thai, Thailand character.
It just doesn't make any sense because so then how do you expect Bruce Leroy? You know what I'm saying?
His
Like
name
that's
is not
Wing
Bruce
Chun,
Leroy.
not Bruce Leroy, but
Come on, bro.
It's not the character's name,
you already
bro.
know what the inspiration for Leroy Smith is. You already
so
know.
why is he not an Asian man? That's my thing. They didn't have a problem with
Oh,
that.
come on, bro.
What you mean? Come on, bro. That's your point. So we're gonna go with Thailand. Let's go with Thailand. Let's go. Why isn't Ip Man a Chinese man? Why is it Leroy Smith a Chinese man? If you want to go with that,
Okay.
you gotta be consistent. Am I
Okay,
wrong?
okay.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. To the point you're making, you're not wrong. But what I said in the chat, I think earlier stands. I think that especially starting from Tekken 7, right? I think Tekken 7 with Fakuramen kind of jumped the gun a little bit, and that's why it wasn't as well received. Tekken clearly is starting to pull from their favorite ideas from other IPs and incorporating it into the Tekken universe.
Yes.
So it's like we want a Wing Chun character, but to pull another Chinese person would be redundant at this point. So we decided to make it Leroy Smith. But we want Wing Chun fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing with Fakuramen. Like, we want a Baki character, but we can't make it literally Baki. So we're going to put in Fakuramen, who is a Baki-inspired character in our Tekken lore.
Bro, that Marduk trailer when he was fighting Marduk, like that was the episode of Baki. All of a sudden, here this new person come out that obliterates somebody who's known for obliterating other people, and it's just like nobody could take this titan of a character down. Nobody,
except Bruce.
It's just a Tekken version of doing things. We
And
made
so
all the jokes in
when
the world about Tekken 8. I'm like, bro, like Bayonetta, Jin. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just they're doing their own version of IPs that they respect.
I mean,
Laura's is Chidori,
right? The Naruto aspect, bro.
I mean that like he became Chidori because he made the crossover. That's the only reason why he had it. And so they say, let's just keep it.
But that's what I'm saying. They're putting their own spin on these other IPs that they enjoy. That's it.
That's it.
Not everything is going to translate the best. I think to your point, like you said, that's right. Like the whole thing about him having veins on veins and being like this weird proportion character. Is it the most natural conversion into the Tekken universe? No. Right. That's why Leroy Smith works a little bit better because he fits in terms of like the stature that we're used to from these characters. But we had like
Leroy Smith.
Yeah, but we had like a whole vampire character in Tekken 7 and no one batted an eye. You literally fight a demon in Tekken 8 and no one bats an eye. Like they're making a clear and distinct choice.
But she was more like a gimmick character. I didn't personally like. We have a fighting kangaroo in the game, so you know what I'm saying. I didn't
right. But that's what I'm saying. Like you have to you have to take the good and bad of the universe.
Yeah.
You can't be like, well, I only want the designs that make sense to me.
Yeah, because you realize they got rid of two of the animals. It's only the bears now.
Yeah, the part of the constant lore used to be a velociraptor with boxing gloves, bro.
Gone.
Realism was never a thing there.
Yeah, but they were already like, and even with those, you had to unlock them. They weren't like, you know what I'm saying?
But they kept
those
bringing them
just
back.
Like funny treats.
They kept bringing them back. Mokushin.
Because That's his humor though. That's his humor. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's how I feel about it. I think because right now, if Lei gets bleeded out of the game, that doesn't make any sense.
I think they'll bring it back. They'll bring it back.
People's holding the same position Timber holds about Fakurami.
They'll bring it back.
About Lei. Well, he hasn't been in. He's in Tekken 7. He was DLC, and nobody played him.
They'll bring him back.
I think he'll be back. I mean,
Yeah.
I do feel like they should switch up his fighting style a bit, like make him really the master of the drunken fist, to bring out that he's
That'd be
this
dope.
washed up cop who's now a vagabond type of character.
Why would you want to get rid of Police Story Jackie Chan though? That just doesn't make any sense. That's like the best combat to pull from.
Because then you fuse in your inspiration that they want to pull from a Police Story Jackie Chan meets drunken boxing Jackie Chan.
Which
That's
is cool,
it.
but Lei is a character that has more than one style, which
So let him have a
Right.
style change.
okay, then that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
They've
He
shown that
has
they
the
can
crane.
do it.
He has literally. That's what my opinion was like. Why would you get rid of this character? He's going to bring. He's
But
going to
then-
bring.
But that's
Crazy
also the
numbers.
issue that I've been having with Tekken ever since 7. That, and you're seeing some of the similar elements now. It's like, if these characters are not dead, where are they? But then they're using it for DLC purposes, bro.
Mm.
Remember, like I said, bro, I didn't buy Tekken 7 until season 3 because,
I didn't
like,
buy
bro,
Tekken
like
7
the
until the
first
game was
two,
done.
like especially season 2 was, bro, all of that was straight classic characters, bro. Straight. It's like, bro, like, why am I paying for Armored King?
It's. But here's the thing. Tim, that's why I said Tekken 7 is such a weird anomaly. I understand your point, but like Tekken 7 came out when we were in high school. We were still in high school to a degree.
No.
Okay, let's say college.
Well, I
let's
was
say
in
college.
Yeah.
Oh,
In
no,
the
like-
arcade, yeah. I'm not high school. It came out when we were in the arcade. Tekken 7 came out when we were in college and it was in the arcade. Bro, they didn't have no DLC. What you got was what you got. Then they started to make the game. And now, of course, those characters didn't make it in the arcade version. So that's why Tekken 7 is such a weird anomaly. When they made it to the when they finally made it to the console version, they were not expecting it to have the level of success. It was just supposed to be a simple port. The console release was probably like 2 to 3 years from the time it was released in Japan on the arcades. Then they did the port. Then they finally, and then after that unexpected DLC season. We thought we were just gonna get like probably season 1, season 2. Then
Yeah.
they decided to put more life into it, and then they had new moves, new specials. I don't think they gave us new stages, but
Yeah. With the DLC characters.
okay, and then new costumes. So I'm like, yo, these people are not playing about Tekken, so they obviously made a lot of money, and they weren't expecting it. So what would happen with Tekken 7 and because it happened that way, made whoever Bandai were like, yo, listen, we got to come big next game, and boom, now we have. I think they have already planned out the next couple of Tekkens, in my opinion.
Or at least the direction of Tekken. I don't know about the next
Yeah.
couple of Tekkens.
Yeah.
No, probably, yeah. I know development cycle probably was long, but I don't think they had the reason why, because they had such a long time in dealing. I'm already sure they already probably started, probably talks about the next Tekken. But right now it's good. I think this is gonna last a while. I don't think it's gonna last as long as 7. I don't think they could if they want to, but I don't think anybody's gonna complain, to be honest with you, because Tekken 8 is such a fun game, man. And now in a short time it's coming into fruition, because they had its mishaps and kinks here and there with
they
certain
overshot
glitches
themselves,
and
a little
servers. They weren't expecting servers to be so big.
bit. Yeah.
But yeah, Tekken 7 is an anomaly, so that's why I don't really. I'm not really as upset, and that's why I bought the game earlier, because for me, this is me getting my hands on Tekken. I didn't need to wait, and they gave us a bonus if anything.
I was gonna say, like, it's crazy how literally almost like on the money. Every time we bring a Mortal Kombat 1, either Tekken or Street Fighter comes up. That's not good.
It's inevitable. That's what I was
That's
saying.
not good.
These games have, and then the next Street Fighter. I was excited to see I don't even care about the characters. I just want to see how they're going to interpret them.
Mhm.
How are they going to interpret?
We're going to be doing
Ed?
6 for a long time, I think. I don't think we're going to be rushing to 7 anytime soon. Like, especially
I
with how
wouldn't.
well received Bison was.
I
They're
would.
like, oh,
I would
okay.
definitely. Yeah, I would.
We're getting at least 4 seasons of Street Fighter 6, at least.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Easily.
I wouldn't rush it. And then after that, do nothing for a couple of years. Yeah, that's it. And just y'all enjoy the game.
While we actually write a story for these characters instead of all the big bads wandering the world.
Nah,
Bro,
they're not.
It's like you might have, if you bring back Sagat and Seth, it's just like, bro, the full roster is just there. It's just like nobody's dead.
Hey, bro, I would love a surprise return of Street Fighter 4 energy in terms of roster. So if they want to play the long game with this, I'm here for it. Give me a pack of 5 characters-esque every season pass till we get to, the roster that we want to be. Because all these characters are relatively balanced. Like the combat system is where it needs to be gameplay-wise. So just give me the characters that I want.
Find it interesting that they're releasing like 4 characters each season.
It could just be due to budget. Like, because it's not only the characters you're getting characters, obviously costumes, and then they're doing like, you're getting like mini story expansions because now like that character is also like your mentor. So there's also cutscenes for that too. Like that takes resources.
Yeah, it does. So. Yeah, the Akuma one probably was no joke to make.
Exactly.
Definitely no joke to make. That trailer was heavy.
Mm-hmm. And just like the what went into like the scope of what was happening.
I hope Goken makes a return. He should.
He should. He won't get there before Sakura, but I think he should.
I would 100% Dante and Virgil these 2 rivalries, and it's already there. There's room there for within the lore. I would do that definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot. Again, there's a lot of places they can take this game if they want to. That's why I'm like, if it ends up being on Street Fighter 4 levels of roster, I am here for it. I'm just, turn it into your Street Fighter 2 of the modern era. Just release an updated version every year with 10 new characters, and I'm fine. Whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but I honestly don't see how Mortal Kombat's gonna do it. Listen, I just don't feel it. Like nobody's talking about Homelander, nobody's talking about Omni-Man. Like, and that's 2 things that people, oh my gosh, Omni-Man and Homelander in one game.
Well, to be honest,
it's
just season 2 itself was just very.
And who was in that season?
Yeah, it was just very stagnant. Homelander, it was for the new season of The Boys, but then it's just like, it's there was still some things left that I feel like the brutality should have been updated to a bit.
Yes.
That's why I kind of felt like if Homelander was an MK11, I felt like we would have got a much better version.
Or if they just decided not to use Superman's assets from Injustice and actually made
it, that was bro. Like, I do feel like this cameo system, things got watered down.
Mm-hmm.
Things got watered down, and it's present, bro. Because, the biggest revealer to me was like some of the fatalities. Look at the one they did for the Takeda. That was very C+.
Yeah.
It's like you could already tell in your mind what they're going to do, and I feel like that was the
glory
glory
with
about
fatality.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the glory about fatality, is like you're leaving some parts of your imagination like, okay, what is this person about to do?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, so you're basically just about to like shred his torso to the head pops up and slice it.
Yeah.
No brainer.
Wow. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Well, it's time to move into our anime segment of the pod. I figured we would start off with the somewhat older anime news that we just never really got around to covering at the time, which I think was a shame because it was such I think like a flex on a media level of like what could be possible with a quote unquote subpar season of Demon Slayer. We got the announcement that the Infinity Castle arc is going to be a series of movies. It's not going to be a season in the traditional sense. They're going to release 3 different movies at 3 different times, covering the last arc. We had a very interesting framed conclusion to this arc that people said was a little bit slower, a little bit more boring, so to speak. And fellas, like, given what is happening with this series and the way this ended,
that was a 12 out of 10. Bro, like, it's like you basically turned the final battle into a battle royale. You summoned every last single demon slayer that was there, and you brought all your demons with you. So it's literally everybody's just kill or be killed.
Whatever doubts I had about them making the last part a movie, they quieted me with that scene. I'm like, bro, like this, the scale of what's happening, of like just the shot of the crow flying is all everyone. I'm like, bro, what? Can you imagine this on a widescreen with some popcorn?
Yeah.
Like,
No. Yeah. When's the last time you've been to town?
Probably like
you probably already have a 4DX cinema around you.
No, I do.
You have to watch the X screen.
I know.
Where it's the 3.
I have a funny story about that. I did a 40X screen for the last My Hero movie, and I hated it. I hated it.
No, not with the rumbling chairs.
Yeah,
no,
the rumbling chairs. I was
No. I said X screen, not 4DX. The X screen.
Okay.
The X screen is the 3 screens on the side, so it's super wide. Meaning, like on your left and on your right. On your left and on your right, you'll see the entire display of everything.
Okay.
I saw the creator. I said, this is the next evolution in cinema I was waiting for. This change. I was watching that thing with, I like my military espionage. When they got out of the going in, lost it, and it was the visuals. Oh my goodness, man! I think you're gonna have a great time, but you have to watch it with the X screen. I'm personally gonna watch it. X screen.
Like I said, like your point. When they let me know the release date of this movie, I will be there for part 1 of Infinity Castle if it looks anything like this.
Yeah,
it will. The music, the like.
Man, did I miss season? I missed it. I didn't watch all of it then.
Yeah,
because I didn't even see this fight. Yeah, I didn't even see this fight.
Really?
No,
I was just putting it as a recap for in case it had been a while since I watched the episode, so I was like, maybe you guys wanted to get a recap of it too. But yeah, I
had no idea.
It ends with Muzan showing up to the head guy's house with the Demon Slayer corpse. The Demon Slayer corpse guy blows up the house trying to injure Muzan because he can't kill him. So that's why he's standing in the embers. And then the Stone Hospital shows up first, tries to behead him. That doesn't work. And then all the rest of them show up, and he's like, "Y'all out of here. Go deal with
Stone breathing."
Yeah, because they all was about to hit him with their level 10 breathing.
Yeah. He was like, "Yeah, okay, it's time to go."
Yeah. So that was
that rivals the Thanos moment. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
For anime, I felt that one.
Yeah.
For every piece.
That was my question. Like, how do you guys feel about this being being made into a movie? As far
let me add this one.
I was worried. Yeah.
The one comment. What really got you, and this is how powerful visuals are with music. Once you heard that little banjo,
yeah, you knew it. Yeah, Japanese banjo.
Like, you just knew it. But it being a movie, it makes sense. It makes sense, bro. Because
I was worried.
There's 2 birds, 1 stone. Because movies bring in a lot of like I said, it's the multiple streams of media, and it's the simple fact of you also open yourself up to a wider audience. Because to be honest, people are going to bring people with them.
I don't see how. They have no idea what's going on.
Trust me, bro. There's people like Joy's point, Avengers. There's some people that was their first movie, and then it inspired them to watch everything else. Now to say Demon Slayer has that same impact, we will see.
Yeah.
No, it does.
Yeah.
The Mugen Train made like a gazillion dollars at the box office in Japan.
And we had COVID.
Yeah, during COVID, during the lockdown.
Time. Yeah, bro.
It has reach.
because that's not what even put people on the Demon Slayer. I watched it because somebody told me about it. Hey, you watch Demon Slayer? I said, the manga's getting an anime. I said, okay, I'll watch it. From the first episode, I said, man, this feels solid. You see the family, then the story progressed. Then Gyu shows up. He said, "Yo, I'm gonna kill your sister." No, please don't kill her. Then that episode, I said, "Yo, the animation is refreshing. Let me keep watching it."
A1 every single episode.
The Sengoku arc, when I thought it was all over, I said, "Okay, man, that was great." And then an Upper Moon Force show up. That felt like the Frieza fight. We lose a Hashira. The one that we thought we weren't gonna lose. He has orange hair. He can't go away.
Right.
He's the happy guy. Gone. I was like, my heart was, and then the backstory for him. Oh, dog, I was turning in the seat. I said I couldn't take it. And now, from that point, the Mugen Train people was looking at me with the. Did you see the Mugen Train? I said, man, I did. I didn't think that made me watch Dragon Ball Z in the film and movies. Yep, that made me. Did it come out before Dragon Ball Z Super?
Yes, it came out before Superhero. Yes, it did.
Yeah, that made me 100% go to the movie theaters to watch superhero. Not superhero. Broly.
No, Broly came out before Mugen Train.
Broly came out before. Yeah. Okay, so they helped each other.
Yeah.
Either or.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely helped each other. But yeah.
I was worried too. I think,
terrified.
Yeah, because I'm like, Mugen Train, not for nothing, story wise was like y'all kind of caught lightning in a bottle. Like, it's not the most compelling arc. The Entertainment District would have made more sense as a movie than this arc in particular with the Sound Hospital. I'm like, that
the Entertainment District was just
amazing.
I have no words.
Yeah. And like that to me made more sense movie wise than an art.
You know how my heart was feeling, and I know what was happening.
Yeah. Like I think
this Muzan last fight felt like the last. Like, you want to talk about a beam struggle?
Yeah.
The Cell Gohan beam struggle. You know what that did to my life?
Especially in the anime.
Oh, no, that's what I'm talking about. The Bruce Falconer theme song was playing all night when I went to sleep. I was like, Gohan did it. I felt like my team won the Super Bowl. No, Dragon Ball Z is serious, guys. Yeah. We older now, and we hear people talk crap about us. Oh, it's just for meatheads. No, but when I look back at, I said we would go home from lunch and talk about that. I witnessed Goku turning Super Saiyan on American television for the first time. You know what I'm saying? But, not to go off topic, back to topic. Yeah, man, I was worried, man. I was terrified. But now that, from that alone, I'm ready, because those fights are just not pretty.
Yeah.
Those fights are not heartbreaking fights throughout everything. Yeah. And then the final fight with Muzan felt like, give me a game, guys. Have you got any of you guys beaten the Metal Gear Solid 4 game? A Metal Gear Solid game?
Tim has. Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 4. This is when I looked at my Xbox in defeat, when Snake had to go through the oven to get to the AI room to turn it off. You remember that?
Yeah.
That right there, when I say that was a moment in video, there to this day, except the intro for Phantom Pain, no game has done that to me ever. Where I felt like my heart, I was gonna stop, get up. I was like, yo, the level of fight the willpower that they produced in that one moment. I said, this is why they give Kojima a blank check. Unmatched.
Turns games
in a gaming experience. That people can say whatever they want. People that can say whatever they want about Kojima and Metal Gear Solid 4. It was just a big movie. Man, I needed that.
A movie well written. A movie well made.
That game to me to this day, that's the end. That's the way you finish a series, man. You finish a story. That right there, no complaints.
I am a little interested to see how they do the turnaround time on these movies. Like, I would imagine they would have to plan it out in a way where it's like you got to drop it almost yearly, if not maybe quarterly, right? Like, I can't imagine waiting till 2027 to see the last installment of the Infinity
Yeah, that's
Gauntlet.
not wise. That's another thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing.
not
I'm
good.
like, I don't know how that's gonna
They gotta.
work.
They have to do this in one city.
I mean, they're not because it's three. It's three movies. They're not gonna drop three movies at once. But it's just like, are they gonna do the
not three
Avengers
movies.
like every
Not three
6
movies at
months?
once. Work on the entire.
Oh yeah,
film altogether.
yeah, for sure.
And don't do the what Avengers did. Avengers should have just called it Endgame. No, Avengers Infinity War Part 2.
Mm.
That way you limit and not call it Endgame. You know, because it kind of divide the audience because people in their head, it's a part 2. They're not creative like that. We have to think for
it
them.
doesn't spark that like this is actually a sequel. It's like it is a sequel.
No, it's actually
named
a
something.
continuation.
Yeah,
It's a continuation. Don't sequelize it. Make it a continuation. That's why I think in parts is wise. They should have never did that with Avengers.
Yeah.
Endgame. But yeah.
Yeah. Like again, that scene, I'm like, hey, just tell me when the release date is. I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
I'm gonna go all out. I'm getting the one and Nachos and
as long as I'm employed and breathing, I'll be there. No matter what.
Boy. Yeah, that was nice.
Okay.
That was nice.
And to move on to our last anime topic and last topic of the night, Tim brought it up earlier. It's circulated in the chat for a little while. Felt it was worthy of discussion. I think it speaks to a point near and dear to my heart of like, I just don't understand. Fellas, over the weekend, we finally got it in animation glory of One Piece. The showdown between an emperor and a pirate with a bounty on his head. We saw Eustace Kid and his entire ship challenge red-haired Shanks and his crew. And, given the back and forth struggle in Wano with Big Mom and Kaido, I think the expectations was that we were going to see something that would lead to, a heavy conflict, multiple episodes. But that's not what we got. We didn't get multiple episodes. We didn't get the big boom continuation coming soon of something else. We got a very to the point fight. No need to wonder what happens next. They kind of wrapped it up nice and easy. Pretty much.
Well, not necessarily. Can we remember that Luffy and them lost their first ship?
Yeah,
they got stolen though. Right?
They but they burnt the ship down. They burnt down the Going Merry. Like it wasn't like it was destroyed by a enemy. Like not like this. So
from shore.
From the shoreline at that. Guys. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
For me, let me go. When he used the Sharingan, the observation on it, because I thought Kid did it.
Yeah,
because I didn't follow. I'm not watching. I'm not reading. I'm not up to date on the manga guys. So it's just it's very hard to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Kid did it. I said this is gonna be an amazing fight. Cause I was like, yo, I said, yo, when did Kid learn how to do this with his devil fruit power? And is it awakened?
It's awakened. Yeah.
That's his awakened devil fruit.
That's how you beat Big Mom.
Oh wow. And now I see him, and once I saw him do the Zoid, the Blitz, the Berserk Fury Zoid beam across the ships, I was like, this is amazing. But then Shanks saw, and the fact that he got Shanks moving let me know that, okay, Kid is no longer something to just ignore. If he got Shanks running at full speed to the point like, I gotta kill this dude today. That was man. I love Kid, man, as a character. But I guess he overserved his purpose. He has no role anymore, so they got rid of homie.
Yeah, in spectacular fashion.
Yeah, he man, that's like dying to. That's like what Vegeta did to that Kui guy.
Oh yeah. Just look up with the smile and done.
Or who got done in terribly in Dragon Ball Z, man. Like,
pick any fight with Vegeta. Him versus Perfect Cell. Him
Nappa.
versus
Nappa. What he did to Nappa, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, man.
Tim, what about you? What were your thoughts on seeing this brought to animation life?
I really enjoyed it, man. Whenever the red hair pirates always get into something, you always know that yes, they're going to be the victors, but there's always a twist to it. Because
Mm,
to be honest, you still don't really understand the level of their powers. You really don't. Like they've been introduced since the beginning, but we still know so little about them. I did like the part where they showed the observation hockey, where they showed the other scenario, where
mm,
Kid obliterated Shanks' ships. But then it's the simple fact, like even when Ben Beckman was smiling, like, oh, I guess he saw something bad. Okay.
mm.
It was the simple fact that nobody was scared. Nobody.
Once I saw him light the cigarette with his boot, I said, "Yo, he dead." That had so much more impact. And he looked up. I said, "Yeah, it's done, man."
It's just that level-headedness that's what I always really loved about his crew. Like, because all of them have a very level-headed demeanor, even when they showed up, and because they were the ones who stopped the war at Marineford,
Right.
they showed up and it's like, all right,
All right, we've done enough for today. But see, I'm
yeah,
glad you brought that up because my whole thing, especially once I mean, I read it, obviously, I read the manga, but seeing it animated reminding, I'm like, yo, how are they going to write Shanks' crew in a way that makes sense? Because you're telling me, and in honor of this episode, I did make a little compilation I'm going to play real quick after I'm done. But you think about it like this. I was like, okay, like Tim said, Shanks was introduced from the very first episodes of One Piece. We know he's been an emperor, things like that. And I'm watching, I'm like, bro, so you're telling me
He lost his arm.
he lost his arm. And he used to fight with Mihawk on the regular. Right?
all
The
right.
world's greatest.
One
Right.
technicality. That pre-time skip with Luffy, when Luffy was a child, we don't really know what his status was then. Because remember, it was Blackbeard who was the one who gave him the scar on his eye.
Okay. Fair.
So, like, that part, like, yeah, it's plot armor, yes, it
Mm-hmm.
is. But it's just, we really don't know the level of where he was at that particular point in time.
Right. Because what I bring up by comparison is like when they had the flashback in Wano, right, of like Roger's time, right? And you see like, bro, Roger's time was just like the time of the beast, pretty much. He's fighting Whitebeard. They're doing hockey punches that shake the continent. Here comes Odin. He's cutting up trees 10 miles away. I'm like, all right, this was just what it was. Like, it was just
Savage Lands. It was
Savage
Outworld,
Lands.
kid. It was an Outworld, dog.
Battle of the strong,
You.
the strongest survive type energy. But like when you look at Shanks, it's like, bro, so technically Shanks should be weaker by that aspect of like he never replaced the arm or anything. He's one-armed emperor. And I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, his whole thing of like you see him you see him again when he meets Whitebeard, his hockey's knocking people out on Whitebeard's ship, whatever. Like Tim said, he stops the war. I'm like, all these things kind of track for someone who's an emperor in my brain. But after the time skip, I'm like, fam, you saw the future and one-shotted Kid who just beat Big Mom with the same attack. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't like he beat her. Yes, law helped. Yes, it kind of wore her down. But I'm like, fam, it wasn't you one-shotted him. One swing of the blade, you one-shotted him. And it got me into my mind. I'm like, bro, this is Shanks Norris. This is Chuck Norris in anime form. Because
And he's faster than Kizaru.
And he's faster than Kizaru, which brings me to my clip of like, fam, how does this work in this world? Because you're telling me like, and Kaido hinted at it when he's fighting Luffy. He was like, in this world, hockey reigns supreme. And it's like, okay, yeah, but Luffy has like the power of a god now, so maybe not. But I'm like, bro, I don't know.
No, hockey does, love.
This is the light, man.
That means Goku will feel very well. Fare very well.
悪いな。親子喧嘩の途中なんだ。
ほう、お前さん方。
逆らおうってことでいいのかね。
それを奪うつもりなら死ぬ気で来い。
これが四皇シャンクスの覇気か。
やめときやしょう。分かったよ。カイドウのなり損ないが。
Bro, I'm watching this man telepathically send his hockey from his ship.
I mean, like I said, bro, I'm very optimistic. I do feel like when we do reach like future battles, it's like, because first of all, remember, there's still multiple factions out there. You still got the Revolutionary Army, you got them, you got, the Five Elders, you got Emu, you got the Blackbeard Pirates. Like, we're going to see a level of fighting I feel like it's gonna make things make sense. But then, with Shanks' crew, you've always made them realize like they're the sensei archetype. They're not there for power. They're just there to pave the way for the next
but
generation.
I will be with you, but they have the power. That's the part that keeps tripping me up. Like every time, like I'm with you on the whole, they're the sensei, they're ushering the new generation. But then every time Shanks draws his blade, it's over. Like it's like again, like with every anime like this, like, there is a form of power scaling, right? And to your point on the previous part, like I think One Piece does this power scaling better than most. But I'm like, where does Shanks, again, mind you, with his one arm, scale in comparison to some of these other characters? Of like, bro, if you're one-shotting supernovas, if you're scaring admirals to put their weapons down because you flex your haki, what is your fighting ability? And this is just you.
I mean, but to be honest, bro, like so much stuff has happened since the time skip that some of the ones that we consider threats are not really threats no more. Like, remember how you said the Lucy fight? It's like, yeah, bro, like I already knew he was not a threat anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there go the time to reconnect him.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, all right, let me just hurry up. Yeah, there's just certain things that are just not technically not really threats anymore. Like to be honest, it's like, yes, bro, we've realized the admirals are like old news now. We just want Akainu to get his. That's basically it, because they introduced new people just to take the place of who they lost, and I don't really care for them no more. I really don't. And the supernovas, we see who the last man standing or couple. The emperors, we've shown that yes, we're on the same scale as them now. So it's kind of like, what scale are you really talking about? So it's just right now, you're fighting cheat code characters with other cheat code characters. That's basically what it is to the end.
That's rank. Any final thoughts on what you've seen from the Shanks highlight reel? Do you echo Tim's points about it just like cheat code for cheat code at this point?
Yeah.
Didn't they recently say that the arc has begun, the final seasons of the arc? Didn't they release an official statement, or is that just the web talk?
It's the talk in the same way it's been the talk for the last couple of years of like he's literally like, I'm winding One Piece down for real.
Yeah,
that can mean anything.
That can
mean 5 years.
Incredible, man. Mm-hmm. That was incredible, man. The slash. I didn't want Kid to go out that way because I like Kid. I feel like he's one of my favorite pirate character designs.
Mm-hmm.
I like his power. I'm like, man, he's that's it.
Yeah, I'm like, when I see a character again, with Devil Fruits, you kind of like all right, Devil Fruits mixed with hockey, yada yada. I'm like, bro, you're telling me that Shanks, for all intents and purposes, is a regular human being who has hockey.
Yeah, I know. And even Rayleigh is. So
but that's what I'm saying. But even with Rayleigh, it's like, yeah, Rayleigh was able to deflect Kizaru. I'm like, bro, you not only did you deflect Kizaru, you beat him to the rock.
So yeah, that means you don't need a Devil Fruit power. I'm trying to understand, like, man,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Rogers didn't have one. That's when I knew it was. Listen,
that was a different time.
Yeah, that was a different time. But I mean, I kind of expected that power to be ridiculous because once they told me that the number one Uchiha was defeated by a woodsman, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I could not believe my mind could not process the two statues. I was like, yo, yeah. You see that dude right there with the Super Saiyan 3 hair and the red eye? Yeah. Guess who defeated him? A man defeated him with wood. I said, wood?
He beat the fire style with kindling.
He beat the fire style with wood. I said, yo. I said, who is this man? Who is this man?
But wood nonetheless, Tim.
Who is this man?
But you know, in the words of Kenpachi Zaraki, where's your imagination?
Mm.
Man. And that's how you got to take some of these things, bro. It's just, where's your imagination? Like, yes, there's good, significant buildup. I'll give it that. But it's just a simple fact. Like, yes, bro. Like, like Kid did not stand a chance, bro.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Kid did not.
No, I knew he didn't. That's why I knew. Like, why is Kid start? When I saw it on Twitter, I said, "Yo, why is he starting to fight this guy?"
Like, even the build up from when they were in the bar, when the people was telling them, like, "Hey, they're back," is like they're just leaving the bar smiling because they already knew what the deal was. Like, yes, the fact that Shanks has, and that's the thing about the Red Hat Pirates. They have their elite squad. But then you also realize they have just regular people on their crew too who just been recruited. Now, yes, those the ones who are kicking and screaming when Kid obliterated the ships. But I'm pretty sure his roster, like the guys who names they introduced, they were fine, and they would have probably still won the battle.
Yeah, I think in terms of like it just brings me more questions, and we'll wrap up. Like I'm just like, what does the One Piece entail at this point, right? Because all science is be leading that like at some point everyone's paths will cross in efforts to obtain the One Piece. But I'm like, but does that mean a big old battle royale fight? Right? I can't imagine the Straw Hats.
I don't necessarily think so.
with the red hair.
I don't necessarily think Shanks is going to be like a competitor. I would say, because like I said, man, you got to really open up. Like, not everybody's there to really compete, because like how you said, like they would have just done it already. So like their role is to truly, like, you could tell that they truly believe in the future, because they understand that if a particular group just controls everything, that becomes generational tyranny. That's what Danzo was. Danzo is generational tyranny. He did not have faith in those under him. He did not. And he tried to rule everything down to the last bit. But then it's just, you have so many different factors. Like, to be honest, even in terms of the Revolutionary Army, they kind of still have the same type of concept, but just much more different means. They believe in the future. So I think everything is just paid for, like, to believe in the future. And to be honest, we still don't even know what the One Piece is. That might be the most biggest gotcha ever.
Well, I think it's what you are, the Kung Fu Warrior.
Oda already said that. He said it's not going to be. He said he's not doing it was the friends he made along the way type treasure. He's like he said it's going to be an actual thing. He's already said it. Like, he's not going to do the whole like cliche like, oh, the One Piece was
you know what's going to be. It's going to be just like the Soul King. It's going to be something like it's there, but it's just like, but what really is it? That's what I meant by gotcha.
It's kind of something that's probably like it was used as motivation and incentive, but it doesn't like holds, like it doesn't. It's not like a power.
It doesn't hold that much weight. It's just it's literally like a gotcha type of thing, bro. And then no more to be continued. Have a good day.
Not a toy animation. Anything to say about it? 2-piece, 3-piece, 5-piece.
Hey, chill.
But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys if you were watching through this entire time or listening to us on our multiple platforms in which this podcast is available. Thank you guys for rocking with us. We see that our subscriber count is going up on YouTube. Always a good sign. We're getting a little bit more feedback on our clips. Always a great sign. We appreciate it. Can't do it without you guys.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Leave us a 5-star rating if you're on Spotify. You know the drill. You know the deal. Once again, I am your host, Antonius the Gamer. Also joined by Super SS Rank Mikhail Smith, and we are the Press Start Select Podcast. Until next time.